What's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Williams of Making Money with Stephen A. Williams here on YouTube. And in today's video, I have something special for you. My little sister has a business, and what I'm doing is I'm going to give you a review and also pass this video on to her to help her with her business. Because I could see that she's trying a lot of things, and this is actually what I do for my clients. So I'm going to give it to her without any charge, and I hope that she appreciates it and that she puts it to use. But I'm also going to show you so you can kind of maybe put your business in the position that her business is in and see how this information could help you. I can tell you that this what I'm about to do for you here, I do for my clients, and this is like it'll transform your thinking, it'll transform your business. If you're struggling, this is the stuff that I do when my businesses are struggling to make sure that I get grounded and get things moving in the right direction. So first, I want to start off first with, you got to have a business that people want. I want to start off that way because you could be the best marketer in the world. You could be the best idea person in the world, inventor in the world. But if people don't really want that product or service, it's not going to work. And sometimes products or services kind of outgrow the market. And what I mean by that is that it is something that it could potentially work, but with the way that times change, a lot of people you just don't have that market anymore. We see that with Harley Davidson motorcycles. A lot of the older people, they loved Harley Davidsons, and some of them they can't even pick up the motorcycle, so they get the three-wheeler. And people in the past would never be caught on a three-wheel motorcycle, but for Harley Davidson to be able to keep their market growing, or to keep some of their market share, is that they had them come up with that three-wheeler to be able to allow older people who still want to ride Harleys to be able to not, sit there and fight with the Harley. That's just, how things, either they make that fix or their market would just go away. And there's other examples of that. I even went through that with the print advertising industry, print advertising business that I own, is that not too many people are looking at print the way they used to. Yes, it's still a viable option, but a lot of people are looking online. So let's get into it here. She has a business that helps with get rid of that belly fat. And I'm going to tell a story about what happened to me later with the belly flat. But she has a solution for belly fat loss. And so what I would tell her to do, is I would say, first, you got to define your goals. This seems to be skipped when a lot of mentors are talking to people about their business. But a lot of them do talk about it too, but I don't know if they dig deep enough to make the person commit on this side, or they maybe just don't do it the same way that I do it. I'm 100% real. I'm going to tell you, because this is what I had to do for myself, and I know that this stuff works, is that first you got to define your goal. Because if you don't have any goal, you're not going to get anywhere. That would be like saying, I want to go on a trip to, you want to go to Florida, but you just say, I'm going on a trip. You're going to be all over the map. And then if you don't have a map, how are you going to get there? If you don't have a goal, how are you going to get to that goal? And we're going to talk about how to get to that goal in this video. So first, define your goal, and then those goals are going to be your inner, that's what you hold to yourself. I either want to make more money, I want to be able to not work a 40-hour-a-week job, I want to be able to support my family better, I want to be able to buy this nice car, big house, whatever those goals are, that's going to be right here. That's going to be listed here. But on this other side, you're going to have these outer resistance. Some of the outer resistance are things that you do, things that we do. That's an outer resistance. And then some of it is going to be people, and some of it is going to be false beliefs. So I've listed some of them here. Some of these here, people And when I say people, outer resistance, is that when you start to tell people about your business, some of those people are not going to be on your side about your business. That is probably one of the hardest things for people to understand, is that friends, family, associates, bosses, all these people that you would think, why wouldn't they want an individual to be able to better themselves? And you're like, it just seems like there's something not right when I mention what I'm doing. It's not against your business. It's not against you. What it is that that person is starting to see that you, who grew up in the same situation as them, are trying to do something that they probably wish they could have done. And then they're putting their limits on you. They start to put, and this is done subconsciously. Sometimes people don't even know that they're doing it. They think that they're saving you when they're not saving you. It's just that they're just doing what they know and understand. And that's what we all do. So I don't put that like something bad, but what I'm here to tell you, and if you didn't watch my video yesterday, you need to watch it, because when you start to fully commit here, you're going to start to see that some of these people are going to disappear out of your life. And it's not because they disappear because they just go somewhere else. No, it's because that person's mentality, their level of what you're trying to do cannot exist in the same space that you exist in. It's just going to be a clash. It's going to just be like every time you go to them, oh, you're still doing that stuff. You're still doing this. It's going to be a clash. And if you're going to be successful, you're going to have to take yourself out of that situation. And that's what I mean. It's going to be like they disappeared, because they cannot stand that you are trying to do something for yourself. And it's not because they can't stand you, it's because they can't stand themselves, because they did not have the inner power to do something. So I got loud at that point, because this is one of the things that stops a lot of people. People think that they open up a locate, like I know a guy that opened up a restaurant and he expected his family to come there and eat. And he was like, man, I was shocked. The only one that came to eat was my parents. None of my other family, friends, none of them supported my business. And that's because they don't need to support your business. Your family and friends do not need to support your business. Get that out of your mind. So the next thing is that you're going to have money limits. I would have never started my first company with my wife in 1990 if I would have just had the belief that we don't have the money to do anything. We didn't have money. And that business has made us millions of dollars. So just think, what if I would have just said, oh, we don't have the money. You got the money. You just don't put the money to good use. And we're going to get into talking about what to do with that too. Limits on ideas. See, all of this stuff is when you start to define and put this in your inner, all of this stuff is going to pop out, and that's nothing but resistance. There is a solution for not having enough money. There is a solution for not having enough ideas. There is a solution for not having enough knowledge. There is a solution for watching too much TV, going to the club, drinking, doing whatever. There's a solution for all of that. All that is outer resistance to stop you from focusing on your goal. But if you focused on your goal more, all of this stuff would just start to disappear. So that's the first thing. If you can't do that, don't do a business. Go to your job, and I want you to be the best employee at your job so you don't have to worry about getting fired or laid off when they start to have a downturn in business. That's what you should do. But if you're trying to be successful in business, you're going to have to cut the ties with a lot of the stuff, with a lot of belief, a lot of people, a lot of things that you do. You're going to just have to do it. So let's move forward. And I'm looking out the window because somebody was looking at coming to my building here. All right, so let me calm down a little bit. The next step here that we got is how to get more customers. One of the things when this is like a mindset shift that I made, and I've even made it even more of a mindset shift now. Like nobody knows everything. I don't know everything, and there's times that I have to think about things that on what I do to get customers. And when I think that since I've bought fully into this, like I'm 100% bought into this here, is that I understand that you don't, and I'm telling my sister this too, is that you don't pressure people to buy. Now, people can get pressured to buy stuff, but we don't pressure people to buy. I don't want you to pressure people to buy, because if you pressure people to buy and the person is not ready to buy, they may not be ready for your solution. See, you want to present your solution and you want people to be ready to accept your solution. Because if they're not ready to accept your solution, then they're not going to be ready. Even if they buy it, they're going to have a bad experience. Now, let me go through my experience with, because I told you I did the belly fat. I went to Santabello. Now, you might be saying, well, why didn't I go to my sister? Number one, she lives in a different state. But number two, she wasn't even doing it back then. And I probably would have tried that because there's what's called a step up. But I went to Santabello and I paid $10,000 for it. But I did not just walk in there from one commercial to go see it. I did not. I saw it, demonstrated, saw it, demonstrated, saw it, demonstrated, consultation, demonstrated again, and they go through their sales process, but they still never force anyone to get it. It's not a high pressure type sales deal, because they expect and they know and they learn that if a person is not ready for it, it's going to be a bad experience. It's going to be a very bad experience. So what they do is they advertise. So now you might be thinking, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, is that you don't have the money to do that. And you don't have the money. None of us have the money that these major corporations have to market their products and services. But I'm going to tell you how you can actually do a better job than what they're doing, or do something comparable based off of what you have available to you. So we need to understand, though, that people want to buy what they want. This is the thing. You know that people want the belly to be flat. And I went in there and I paid $10,000. I paid $10,000. It was years ago, and I got the benefit right away, and I still enjoy the benefit to this day. Now, you do have to take care of, of the work that they do, but it does really work. But the thing about it is that I was ready at that time to go through it. So people want to buy what they want. So how do we get people into this position for your business? How do we get people into that position to bring you people rather than you chasing after people? Because when you're trying to convince people to buy, it's going to make you get burnt out for your business. And so first, what you got to do is, like I said earlier, you got to know that you got a business that people want to buy. If you have a business that people want to buy, then we got to know, how can we put together a process to get people to see what we had to offer, and then to kind of demonstrate and stay in front of their face to be able to let them know that you are the one, if they're ready to do it, to come to for that product or service. So now let's look at something real quick. This is what I see a lot of people doing. This is what I see you doing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. This is where we're at with this this social media, social media game that is being played out there. But I'm just here to tell you is that very little people see any results from what they're doing with their social media. Social media is just a piece of the puzzle. It is not the entire puzzle. And anyone who tells you that they've been able to do things from their social media without other pieces of the puzzle, they're not being truthful to you. But I don't have to tell you that, just like I don't have to sell you on that idea. Most of you, including my sister who's watching, is doing a lot of social media posts and still cannot, to this day, survive 100% off of their business. Or even if you can survive off of your business, you're working all the time. You're working all the time. Like, if I had to work all the time, I would not be enjoying life. Not to say that you don't have to work hard at the beginning, but at some point, and I see a lot of business owners go through this. I know a lot of millionaires. I know a lot of people who make a lot of money, and I can tell you what we love doing is making money without working. We come in and we do things that we love to do, but we want to make money without working. I see people posting like crazy on social media, and they're not understanding that that's a piece of the puzzle. Not that you shouldn't do it, because that is an avenue to demonstrate to people. But you got to have another piece of that where you're not working yourself to death. Because there's been a lot of people, even people who have went viral on social media, and they didn't even make any money. Because they're not understanding that you have to, at some point, you got to monetize. But if you start to try to sell on your social media, what are all your friends, family, and your people going to do? They're going to be like, what are you doing? This is supposed to be social media, not sale media. So now, that's why you got to advertise. So what most people do, what you're doing is you're posting. Why do you post? You post because you want to get noticed. You want people to call for a consultation. You want people to buy your services. Let's not hide behind the curtain on what we're trying to get people to do. Let's be upfront about what we want them to do, but let's do it in a way that lets people know what you have to offer rather than you're trying to convince them. Because some of the people, when they see stuff with these posts, they may be thinking that you're trying to convince them to do something, not that you're trying to demonstrate something that of benefit to them. So you have to be very careful. So if this is what you're doing now, you're posting to get noticed. So don't play any games. You're posting to get noticed. You want people to call for consultation. This is for any business. And you want people to eventually buy your services. Like, this is the bottom line of what you're trying to do. So now, if you believe all you need is more people to see, why are you why limit yourself to free posting? If you believe, so this is where we piece stuff together. This is like a piece of the puzzle. So one piece of the puzzle was free posting. The other piece of the puzzle is paid ads. See, you're frustrated because you're just doing one piece of the puzzle, but you have in your mind, all I need is more people to see. But see, here's the problem. When you're posting, I would say a huge amount of the people are not interested in what you have to offer. That is the problem, is that when you post stuff, a lot of people are not interested in what you had to offer. And then you might be saying, okay, well, how do I get more people to be interested in what I had to offer by posting? And you will draw people, but you got to have a plan of action with utilizing that. So if you're posting and you don't know who is interested in what you had to offer, the only way you're going to know is if they decide to buy. And people just don't jump in and say, I'm ready to buy. You might have some, but it's not going to be something that you can sustain for your business. So with paid ads, what you could do is that you could get in front of more people who may be interested in your product or service. And there will still be people that are not interested in your product or service, but I'm going to show you how it will end up being a lot of people who are interested in your product or service. And then some of that group of a lot of people will end up buying your product or service. And you will not have to be doing all of that work to get those people to buy your product or service. So this is like a piece of your puzzle, is a free posting. And then there's other pieces, and we're going to talk about that. So if you need more people to see what you have to offer and you're advertising to those people, what I would suggest is that you do lead generation, especially for your type of business. Now, lead generation doesn't work for every type of business, but we're talking about her belly fat loss business. It will work for your business. So what you want to do is you want to advertise clearly to people your solution. Clearly to people for your solution. And you can do that on various platforms. It does not have to be a high budget. You can just get something started that's going to be consistent. But you need to clearly figure out what you need to say to people to get more people interested in your product or service. This is what you're trying to attempt to do with free posting. And like a few people raise their hand and say things, but I'm going to even tell you that even if you did a posting and like 20 people said, hey, I'm interested, that you're making a problem for yourself because you can't even, because of everybody's going to be at a different level on being ready to buy. And I'm going to show you how you could take away that work, because one of the things that you did express to me is that some of the times you talk to people and they're not ready to buy from you. And I'm going to talk about what you could do to alleviate that problem. So you identify an ad that will be working. You generate leads. You will know that if the ad is working because you're getting clicks for the ad. You'll know that the ad is good enough for people to want to inquire because you're going to be generating leads. So this is trackable. Right now you're posting. Some of the people might comment. You talk to them when you get a chance. And what if you're working, or what if you're taking care of a client, you can't talk to them. But with this process here, this could be automated. They become a lead, right? They see your ad, they become a lead. Automation, which I'm going to show you in a second, put in place to start talking to that person and introducing them to your service. And maybe if you have it available, they can buy now, they can set up a consultation, whatever. But you would have this in place. Having this in place takes away from you having to sit there doing everything. It's like you have another employee that's working for you. This is the way I look at it for my companies. I have an employee that works for me that's automated, that doesn't have an attitude, does what I tell it to do on time, because I program this. I program the ads. My ads run 24/7, 365. I don't care. Holidays, Christmas, whatever, New Year's. My ads run. They generate leads every day, because people have the problems every day, or people are looking for solutions every day. You generate leads. When you're generating leads, you're not selling people right away. You're just seeing who is interested. And then you introduce them to your sales proposition, but that's not to convince them. It's to offer it to them. And if they want it, some people are hot, some people are cold. And now we're going to talk about the process of getting people to those next steps. And people are getting themselves to the next step. So I don't want that to be confused. People are getting themselves to that next step. So if we have our ad, we're generating leads, we got our sales page. What we want to do is we want to put together a follow-up process. We want to email people, and you can also introduce text if you like. Those two could be introduced. For my companies, I utilize text and email. Now, one of the things that, let me tell you a quick story real quick. This one guy that I'm on his email list, he sent out an email and he was telling everybody on his list that you should not do email, you should not do lead generation, that you should just try to sell people outright, that email is dead and all of that. And then I was like thinking to myself, is this guy a fool? Because he's telling everybody about this in an email. Like, what do you do every morning? You probably check your bank, You probably check your email, or you do check your email. And how many times you check your email throughout the day? So email is not the problem. What you say in the email is the problem. And if somebody, that's why I said you got to be clear and concise in your ad, because if you are, and someone becomes a lead and they receive an email from you, they are interested in what you had to offer. But if you just throw stuff out there and it's not about what they inquired about, no, they're not going to open that email. I don't open those emails. But if it's from somebody that I opted in on for something that I am interested in, I will open it up. And based off of me buying, and your customers based off of them buying, is that they're going to run through a process in their own mind. And some of the people are not going to be ready because of their money, because of the time, they got to work, kids, whatever reason, but that's not up to you to worry about. What is up to you to do is to continually stay in front of them with your information about what you can do for them. So when they're ready to do it, when they wake up in that morning like I did that day, and I just said, I done the dieting, I done hit the treadmill, I done all that stuff. I just want this out that day. And I paid $10,000, and they showed me it was like a big canister. It was, all of it was out. It was painful for a while, but it was all out. So let's use my sister's example. She has $1,000 a day, $1,000 a month budget, $1,000 a month budget. And per customer, she gets $200. That means just to break even, you only need 5 customers. But see, the reason why people are afraid to spend $1,000 a month budget is because they have nothing in place really to see if they're even heading towards success. Because all they do is post, or even maybe pay ads, and then they don't get no result. They get clicks, and they're like, well, what the hell? I got 500 clicks and no customers. That's because you're not, number one, doing the ad the right way, and number two, people are at this area right here. So if you know that people are in this area not ready to buy, you should generate the lead and keep them in these processes. And there's things that you would say to these people in email and things that you can say to them in text if you wanted to utilize that. So now let's think about it this way. If you got $1,000 budget, $200 per client, 5 to break even, and you did a great job and they're getting results, and you tell them, okay, you want to get it again. That's where it becomes inner with the company, is where you take over because they're already a client, and you make sure that you do a great job. And then you have expressed to me that some people did it and then they didn't keep following through. That's because when I said they felt like they got talked into it. If you defined in here what they need to do to be a great customer over here when they're ready to buy, you're going to lower that level of people who are not satisfied, because you're going to get people who want to buy rather than people who felt pressured to buy. And people who feel pressured to buy sometimes don't tell you that they feel pressured to buy, but they can send you signals because they're like, oh, I don't know. You should just answer their questions, but don't pressure them into buying. So now, let's look at this here. So if you're running your ads, you want to get as many leads as possible, as many people into your funnel as possible that's interested in what you had to offer. And then you want to have your automation in place. Your automation that you have in place is going to be taken away and freeing up your time. Free up your time. So if you didn't want to post for a week, and if you've done all of these other posts and demonstration and all of that, you don't even need to do all of that. All you can do is just say, hey, I got that stuff done. Let my ads do the work for me. And you get as many leads as possible going through your sales process, your funnel. Let the automation do the work. Instead of you having to call if you don't want to call, you can let the automation do the work, and people will get warmer, and then people will become buyers. And then the other benefit that people seem to never think about, when you have leads, you can sell people other products and services that are connected to your business. So number one, you could resell the services to your buyers. So you can make a whole nother email list and text list just to the buyers to resell the service. So you can get paid money from a lead that you've already had become a customer. So this is like icing on the cake. And then the next thing is additional services. Maybe you have another business that's similar. Maybe you have another business that they might be interested in, and you could just make a referral over to it. Or additional products and services that you're offering. And then another thing is partner services. Partner services. Like for my businesses, I have partner services, and one in particular last year sent me a check for $60,000. $60,000. It was actually more than that. But I have a few partner services. YouTube was another one that sent me, I think it was about $30,000. So 60, but from one was $60,000 from one of my partner services, and that's not counting any of the other sales that I made from the business. So this is even more money that you make without having to do any work. So just imagine, you do all of this, you make your money, you make residual money from people that already like your services. They're satisfied. They just want more of what you had to offer. You make more money from additional services that are that you have for your business, or you connect them with another business that you might own. And then another thing is that partner services, where you just refer out and you get paid for those referrals. This is huge, but people don't even allow themselves to get to that, and they don't even allow themselves to get to the benefit because they don't have enough leads coming in. And then if you're having people post, if you're posting and people are just commenting and saying, I'm interested, call me, reach out, you're going to be sitting there doing that all day. You won't even be able to do your job to take care of your clients. You won't even be able to make quality content videos. You're not going to have free of mind. One of the parts when I talked about the lack of ideas, and is that because when your mind is so stuck on, I got to make money for the business, you don't allow yourself to have freedom in your mind to be creative. And when the more stuff you take off of your plate, the more creative your mind will get, and you will be able to try things and see what works, what doesn't work, but you're going to be more creative. All right, I hope you appreciated this video. If anyone wants to, I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, Making Money with Stephen A. Williams. Make sure that you don't get one of those sites that are trying to steal my picture and put me on there. That's not me. But you'll see my picture, and then any comments that you see on YouTube, it'll have a black box around the name of the channel, so you will know that that's a comment from me, not from someone else. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, post your questions and comments or links for services that I